There's something deeply comforting about the presence of wood that has already lived a life before it becomes part of your own walls. Reclaimed barnwood wall panels bring this layered story into any room, whispering tales of weathered seasons, hard work, and the patient passing of time. Unlike freshly milled lumber, barnwood has a history etched into every grain, knots blackened by age, nail holes left behind like tiny exclamation points, and subtle undulations where wind and rain wore the surface into something softer, gentler. When you clad your walls with this kind of timber, you're not just decorating, you're preserving a fragment of rural heritage within your daily life. Imagine stepping into a living room where an entire wall, once plain drywall, now brims with the texture of century-old planks. Each board carries its own tone, some drifted gray like old driftwood, others rich with deep browns that hint at oak beams from forgotten haylofts. There's no uniformity here, and that's the magic. Your eyes wander from plank to plank, noticing the streak where iron once rusted, the swirl where the grain shifted around a branch long gone. Under the evening glow of soft lighting, the whole wall seems to warm the space, turning a cold modern interior into something rooted and reassuring. The journey from abandoned barn to interior showpiece is more romantic than industrial. Many reclaimed barnwood suppliers begin by carefully dismantling barns that have stood empty for decades. They pull each board free by hand, mindful to keep the original face intact. There's an art to it, prying out antique square nails without splintering brittle edges, sorting lengths by width and straightness, brushing away decades of dust, but leaving the patina untouched. This patina is the prize. New boards can be stained or wire brushed to mimic age, but real age cannot be faked. Just like a wrinkle on a wise old face, the genuine weathering in barnwood gives a soulfulness that new lumber can only pretend to wear. Once salvaged, the boards are trimmed, sometimes kiln-dried to eliminate any hidden insects, and lightly planed on the backside while preserving the time-worn front. Some panels retain old saw marks from hand-milling days. Others show the soft polish of countless seasons facing rain and sun. When you run your fingertips over a finished panel, you can feel this topography, a tactile map of its past life as siding or flooring in a long-lost stable. Installing reclaimed barnwood wall panels is surprisingly accessible. Homeowners and designers often choose to cover an accent wall behind a bed, around a fireplace, or along an entryway to make a bold first impression. Some panels come with tongue-and-groove edges for easy fit, while others are simple planks nailed directly to furring strips. Each board slides into place like a puzzle piece from a bygone era, and the slight variation in thickness means light dances unpredictably across the finished wall, adding depth that flat paint or drywall could never achieve. The color palette is dictated by time and exposure. Boards from the barn exterior might have a silvery gray patina, sun-bleached and soft. Interior barn planks, once hidden from direct weather, often hold warmer browns, sometimes with traces of original milk paint, faded whites, dusty reds, or ghostly blues that peek through cracks like whispers from the past. Clever installers sometimes mix exterior and interior wood in a single wall, letting soft grays meet rich browns in an organic patchwork that feels both rustic and contemporary. Reclaimed barnwood panels also carry an environmental story worth telling. Choosing reclaimed timber means fewer trees felled today, fewer carbon emissions from milling and transport, and a second life for wood that might otherwise rot away in a forgotten field. In an age where sustainability is more than a trend, where it's becoming a necessity, barnwood lets homeowners ground their modern lifestyle in an ethic of reuse and respect for what nature already provided. This sustainability doesn't mean sacrificing style. Designers are pairing these rough-hewn panels with the sleekest of modern furnishings, glass coffee tables, minimalist pendant lights, and polished concrete floors. The juxtaposition is powerful, old and new, rough and smooth, warm and cool. It creates rooms that feel lived in yet fresh, timeless yet current. For those who crave even more drama, some panels incorporate original hardware, old iron hinges or bolts left embedded in the wood. Rather than removing them, craftsmen often polish and seal these relics in place, turning what could be flaws into conversation pieces. Others might choose to highlight imperfections like cracks or insect trails by filling them with clear epoxy, capturing history within a smooth, touchable surface. Living with a reclaimed barnwood wall means living with a constantly shifting artwork. The wood reacts subtly to humidity and light over time, deepening in color as it absorbs the life around it. In winter, the grains might look more pronounced, the boards a little snugger together. In summer, the panels breathe and expand, the texture coming alive under the long daylight hours. It's this gentle transformation that makes reclaimed wood feel alive, like it's still telling its story, just now inside your home. In cozy cabins, barnwood walls pair effortlessly with roaring fireplaces and sheepskin throws. In city lofts, they temper the industrial chill of metal beams and concrete floors, offering warmth and tactility that no paint or wallpaper could ever deliver. Even a small application, say, a single strip behind a bathroom vanity or as a backdrop in a built-in bookshelf, can inject a room with rustic elegance and depth. Some adventurous homeowners take the idea further by extending barnwood beyond the walls. Floating shelves, sliding barn doors, or built-in benches made from the same salvaged planks tie the room together and amplify the sense that the wood is not merely decorative, but an integral, living part of the architecture. In the end, reclaimed barnwood wall panels do more than cover up plain drywall. They bring stories, texture, sustainability, and warmth. They remind us that the most beautiful materials are often the ones that have weathered time with grace. They draw the past into the present, grounding sleek modern spaces with the raw honesty of a farmhouse that once sheltered animals, hay bales, and generations of rural life. So next time you lean back in your chair and run your eyes across a wall paneled in barnwood, know that you're not just admiring lumber. You're witnessing history held together plank by plank, given new purpose as the silent witness to your own life unfolding in the here and now. Reclaimed barnwood wall panels don't hide where they came from. You can run your hands across the grain and feel the ridges where rain and wind sanded them down over decades. Some boards are silvered soft from sun exposure. Others still hold dark streaks where farm machinery leaned too many seasons in a row. Tiny rust rings mark where iron nails once held them tight against beams that shook in thunderstorms and baking heat. People pay good money for this kind of imperfection. A brand new plank from the lumber yard is smooth, predictable, boring as drywall. Reclaimed barnwood is alive. Each board is a survivor, torn off an old wall or pried from a collapsing barn roof. Cleaned just enough to lose the dirt, but not the character. Builders pull out the bent nails, plane the backside flat, but leave the weathered face mostly untouched because that's the whole point. When you cover a wall with it, something changes in the room. White plaster feels cold, glass and steel feel hard, but barnwood wraps the space in warmth you can't fake. The color tones shift from gray to brown to warm honey, sometimes all in the same plank. Gaps between boards let tiny shadows play in the cracks. Light grazes the rough texture instead of bouncing flat. The room breathes differently, not just another pretty wall, but a quiet witness to another time. Some panels come as loose planks, so you nail them up piece by piece. Staggering seems the way farmers did a century ago. Other panels come pre-mounted on backing boards for faster installation. Click, nail done. The purists scoff at shortcuts, but honestly, either way you're bringing history inside. Some people leave the wood raw, so you smell a faint whiff of old haylofts and warm summer dust. Others seal it with oil or clear matte poly to lock in the patina and stop the occasional splinter. Matching reclaimed barnwood to modern interiors is half the fun. You'd think rough old timber would look out of place next to sleek furniture or polished concrete floors, but that contrast is exactly what makes it stand out. One wall of barnwood can soften an entire minimalist loft. It balances a room full of metal and glass by reminding everyone that nature and time still matter, no matter how high-tech the gadgets get. And don't think it's just for living rooms or country cabins. Designers slap barnwood panels behind office desks, along restaurant walls, or even in trendy hotel lobbies. One rustic backdrop can turn a bland hallway into a warm, Instagram-worthy moment. It's nostalgia and modern style wrapped up in boards no one wanted until someone realized they were more interesting than anything fresh cut. Sourcing good reclaimed barnwood takes effort. Not every old plank is worth saving. Some rot from the inside out, turning soft and useless. Some are so full of hidden nails and staples they chew up tools faster than you can sharpen them. The best salvage crews pick carefully, stacking usable lengths, wire brushing the dirt, and trimming off truly rotten edges. They don't bleach away the gray. They keep the woods honest, time-earned surface, and just make sure it won't fall apart on your drywall. Installing it can be messy. Old wood isn't straight. It cups, bows, and twists in ways new boards never do. You have to shim and check every row. But once it's up, you can step back and see a wall that feels older than the house it's nailed to. A wall that carries more stories than any paint or wallpaper ever could. People like to ask where it came from. Was it a dairy barn in Vermont? A tobacco shed in Kentucky? A hay barn somewhere up in the mountains, where snow drifted in under loose boards? Sometimes you know the answer. Sometimes it's better to imagine. Either way, that story is built right into every nail scar and split knot. It's your wall now, but it was someone's barn first. That link can't be faked. In the end, reclaimed barnwood wall panels are less about style trends and more about respect. Respect for material that's already proven its worth. Respect for the rough beauty that comes from years of sun and storms. And maybe respect for the simple fact that not everything old needs to be torn down and thrown out. Sometimes, it just needs a new place to stand tall again. So next time you see an abandoned barn leaning crooked in a field, remember this. Behind those sagging doors and peeling shingles is a treasure trove of stories, waiting to line the walls of a room that craves warmth, honesty, and a little piece of the past that refuses to die quietly.